His last practice ball that he threw on the left lane, he left the 2-8-10 split, came in light. The first ball of this match, he came in light. Steve Jaros looking down at which ball should I throw and where should I put my feet. This is going to be an educated guess.
Through 2 frames, 4 spares total. Make it the opportunity for 5 spares now.
And I think this is what makes this pattern tough. It's, you know, as soon as you let one go a little bit to the right, it doesn't recover. The next time you're up on that same lane, subconsciously, you don't want to give it that room to the right, so you end up pulling it or tugging it, missing left of target, and that's what Steve Jaros did on that shot. And most of the time when you miss left of target this week, it didn't hold pocket.
It's a lot like your golf game. You have kind of one bad swing, one funky swing, and you start tweaking, and you have to retweak and continue tweaking. You lose your focus, you lose your game.
Well, after you shank one or hit a hosel rocket, it's pretty tough to pull the trigger on the next shot.
Misses the pocket. Yikes.
We talked about that worn track area right around the second arrow. If you notice that this shot here, it gets right or wide of that friction zone, and it'll never recover from that spot. So, in essence, Chris Barnes threw it through his hook point into the area where Norm Duke was playing in the last match. Yeah, it was just a bad shot. It was wide of target. And Chris is really arcing it, playing the big rainbow shot from in. And he knows he's got to get it to that spot for it to pick up. And when I say that spot, I mean the friction zone down the lane. But that ball was right of target, and it would never recover, leaving the washout, and it's an open frame.
First open frame of the semifinal, and you saw Chris whip that towel down. That looked like that was going to be the toss, and it kind of bailed out at the last second.
And did you notice that the ball kind of rolled out and stopped right before it got in front of the head pin? Watch the ball reaction or the ball motion. Now it gets wide, it looks like it's almost too far to the right, all of a sudden it tries to come back and then straightens out. That's called rolling out. That's when your roll is too far or too much forward and there's too much friction being created. If Chris Barnes throws the same shot and gets his wrist to roll around the side a bit more, he'll create more axis rotation, and that ball will continue.
There's a look at his wife, Linda Barnes. Extremely accomplished bowler in her own right. 9-time Team USA member. Has won 3 U.S. Amateur Championships as well as a World Cup Championship. They met here in Wichita and got engaged at a Wichita bowling center. Nothing says romance like an engagement at a Wichita bowling center. Now Jaros has been given openings and is not taking them.
And Jaros isn't comfortable with his ball reaction either.
No.
If you notice that Steve Jaros is a straight down and in player, he is versatile. He can hook it and go around it a little bit. He can go straight when he wants to. But if you notice, his entire zone where he's playing is a good 5 to 6 boards left of where Norm Duke played him.
If Norm Duke is watching this match right now, what is he thinking?
He's salivating right now. He really is salivating because he knows he can play an area of the lane that the other 2 players can't get to. Huge advantage for Norm. That's if it holds up and it's still there when he comes back for the title match.
4 frames, 4 spares for Jaros. Barnes, 4 frames, have gone spare, spare, open, spare. The key point, no strikes, people. Still leaves the 10.
Even Sean Rash, with the high rev rate and hook that he has, was playing farther right than where Steve Jaros is playing. Watch this shot here. It's right around the 14th board, going out just a little bit. Again, playing that high friction area, the track area. And all Steve can muster is 9 spare. The good news, he did hit the pocket on that shot.
Jaros has never beaten any of the other three semifinalists on today's show. He was 2-1 on television last season. All three of those matches coming at the season-opening USBC Masters in Milwaukee. There's Chris Barnes, the reigning PBA Player of the Year.
Better. Finally! Now, there was a little more axis rotation on that shot, and it continued.
10 shots. 10 shots for 1 strike. Nice going.
Chris Barnes has been the comeback kid the last few days. Has come from behind to win each of his match play rounds this week. Down 0-3 to Tom Baker, down 0-2 to Jason Belmonte, down 1-3 to Todd Book, but no time to make up ground in a one-match semifinal.
This cat's got 9 lives. I mean, just when it looked like he was out of every match, except for the first one where he swept Dino, he came back.
Well, it looked like he was out of this match, but suddenly back-to-back jacks have you in the lead. Or nipping at it. Chris Barnes and his road roommate Mika Koivuniemi have a new bet. We'll tell you about it next.
The Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour on ESPN is brought to you by Bayer. The more you know, the more you trust Bayer. By Prescription Flomax. By CLR. CLR. All kinds of dirty, one kind of clean. And by the United States Bowling Congress, ensuring the integrity and protecting the future of the sport of bowling. Bowl with us.
We welcome you back to Wichita, Kansas. Packed house here, and next week we go to one of our favorite venues. Thunder Alley in Omaha, Nebraska plays host to the tour for the 2nd consecutive season as Mike Scroggins looks to defend his championship in the first of the named pattern championships. It's also the first of 7 events in the PBA Women's Series. Following that, we head to Olympia Lanes in Hammond, Indiana. Michael Haugen Jr., the defending champ. This telecast will also feature a championship match between 2 PBA Senior Tour players. Just a few lanes outside of our set, there is Norm Duke staying loose, getting warm, and getting set to try and win his 3rd consecutive major title. And as you said, Randy, he has to be salivating at the issues that Chris Barnes and Steve Jaros are having right now.
Well, Chris Barnes now appears to be getting a little bit more comfortable playing that deep inside line, but I still think that at this point, you would have to give the advantage to Norm Duke.
Jaros still looking for his first strike here in the 6th. Not enough of a love tap there on the 10.
Steve still struggling to try to find the right combination to get his ball to face the 1-3 pocket a little bit stronger. And he's nowhere near being out of this match. And just because he hasn't struck yet, he's staying clean. He's staying in the game. You know, the count is all even though Chris Barnes is working on a double.
He was telling us last night he was trying to tilt it in this week. Can you explain that?
Well, at times he would tilt it in, meaning he would try to get the ball to rotate a little bit more sideways as opposed to rolling more end over end. And that was to get it to read the pattern depending on how he was playing the OL pattern. He's, like I said, he's versatile. He can do a lot of different things with a bowling ball.
There it is!
And see, there's another move, Rod. He moved inside and went more up the back and kind of rolled it out and chipped the 4. The Steve Jaros can bowl. Let's make no mistake about it. This young man has bowled 300 on television, and when he gets locked in, he strikes a lot.
Chris Barnes, well documented last season of his problems on television. He was 5-6 on television last season, but got out of the funk in the later stages of the season, then really just kept on rolling well. Here he is looking for 3 in a row.
Pretty good pitch there by Chris Barnes. leaving the blowout 7. And this angle that Chris is playing is all about ball speed, location, and rotation.
Told us last night his goal this season is just try and enjoy it a lot more. This is a tough match to enjoy the experience.
Well, you know, he said that he doesn't feel like he has to prove anything anymore since winning Player of the Year honors. He doesn't have to prove anything to anyone. And now he feels like he can go out and enjoy it. But, you know, it's easier said than done.
There we go.
I just think that as good as this guy is, you know, he's performed poorly on television. If he ever turns that around,